Yo, paranormal peeps, what's happening? I'm going to talk to you about the UFO conspiracy and what it means. Now, as you notice, you will see on this channel that we've been putting out stuff about UFOs, and I filmed UFOs on the back of my house. We've had contact from what we believe are the beings of the Divine Council or the Council of 12. Now, you're going to see more and more of this as the Pentagon has just released footage of what they believe is UFOs. They're on about they found an off-world vehicle, or they have one through an archaeological dig. But what does it really mean for the average Joe, right, who is going through an experience? Now, it's a pretty daunting thing to think that there may be some of us out there who have been abducted, been chipped, have little devices in us that monitor us, that keep track on us. But if you think of just the way this world is, right, and our own government, because they've had an agenda, it's quite the same. They've wanted to track us and chip us for quite some time. And it is a frightening concept to think there are beings out there who can wipe our memories, take us while we sleep, and implant us with devices. And if you've watched things like The Fourth Kind or Fire in the Sky, you know, it's quite frightening. But what would it really mean? What does it really mean? What would be the purpose of it? What would be their agenda to do these things? Now, say for example, if humanity makes it through this tornado or whirlpool of madness that's going on in the world right now, right? And say in, I don't know, 100,000 years, maybe 1,000,000 years, we evolve. And we could change the fabric of time or control it. Maybe we would come back and try and influence humanity. I think we would, if good won the day. But when we think of it in the concept of extraterrestrials, it's kind of sinister, and it is dark. And you've got to think, if you watch the film The Fourth Kind, with this little village in Nome, where these events are supposed to have played out, no one will believe you, right? In this world now, as you know, you've got conspiracies of conspiracies, right? You've got the QAnon stuff, you've got 4chan, you've got 8chan, or whatever it's bloody called. You've got people just throwing stuff out there. You've got people, genuine people like Bob Lazar, and you've got some of the well-documented things they have on things like ancient aliens. But it's a very dark concept and thought process to think that there are beings who would do this to us. Whether it would be in league with the government or not. And what would be the purpose? Well, maybe it's to find something they're looking for, because with the Council of 12, they were looking for a spiritual connection in us. The connection between the spiritual and the physical. So basically, the answers for where's God, or our origins, or our purpose. Where do we come from? What are we here for? Because these are some big questions. But if you were in that scenario and no one believed you, it would be quite simple to do. If you'd been abducted or you had these experiences and you felt like you'd been taken aboard a ship, no one would ever believe you without physical evidence, because there wouldn't be any. Even if there was physical evidence, it would be covered up. Imagine what that does to the mind. And in this world, from the things I've seen through the paranormal, through investigating spirits, and ghosts, and demons, and ufology, and abduction, it's one of the most debilitating things to have a story or to have an experience that in a world of reality can be deemed unbelievable. And yes, you will have people who, like you've seen videos where in America they have conventions on it. They have abductee conventions. And they have all sorts of stories. Some of them, yes, seem unbelievable. Some of them seem quite possible. But as far as I've seen it, there was beings who came from the stars, that visited Earth for whatever reason, and maybe we are a product of that, or maybe they just could influence us because they were smarter and they were more technologically advanced. But what would be their agenda right now? What if there is some sort of galactic war for Earth? As you've seen from what the media has said and science, Earth-like planets seem to be quite far apart and quite sparse. So it does kind of make sense to think that maybe that would be the case. That we could be ruled or fooled by beings who are way more advanced than we are. Maybe they're on our side and they're trying to help us and guide us, which the Council of 12 have said that is their agenda and that is what they're trying to do. And they have stated that there are beings who think the contrary and want to control us and use us. And that is a pretty scary thought. I mean, if you had a map, right, and most of you have visited probably quite a few places in the world, but you draw a circle, a round circle, around every area you've ever been to. So the point you're at now, and draw it outwardly to the furthest point you've been on planet Earth. Be surprised how small. Be surprised how small the Earth is that you've visited, the world that you've physically interacted with. So, what could we do, or what would it mean for us if aliens are real? For me, it changes nothing. It doesn't change my faith. It doesn't change my belief in the story of people like Jesus. Because whether Jesus was real or not, that story is profound. It's spiritual, it's meaningful, and it can change the world if you truly listen to it. Like all spiritual stories. And there are beings that you will see through history that have supposedly visited Earth who have quite dark intent and have seemed to have controlled this world. As like Stephen Hawking and different people have thought that looking at our nature, there may be beings out there who hold life in the same way that we do and have a massive disregard for its purpose and its wonder. Because we are, as it stands, really primitive. And we could, without question, be easily manipulated. So, basically what I'm trying to say is, it's very possible, guys, it's very possible that there are beings who are taking us from our sleep and placing chips in us and monitoring us for whatever purpose it is. It could be that they are space travelers and they have less of the abilities that we have for emotion and things like you would have we produce things that we have in our body, and they might use such things as a drug. That seems to make sense. They could be just monitor us as we do animals in a zoo, and watch our behaviours, and watch what we are and where we've come from. It could be a contract. It could be they placed us here and the earth was theirs first. There's so many possibilities. But I think where it starts is if somebody has an experience and they tell you, try and hold it in your heart to believe a little bit more, because that would make such a difference to that person who is experiencing that. Yeah, science will say this and say that, and you'll have people telling us about this and that, and you've got all different things, but really, just like anything, just to hold your hand out and say, okay, we'll look into it. We'll take a look. We'll see what it means. We'll try and stop it. We'll see if we can fix it. We'll go to the right people. Just that. Because I can't imagine there's anything worse than being in a situation where no one will believe you. It'd be like an identity theft, or there's so many scenarios you could think of where people would just doubt a really traumatic and life-altering event that you might face, that to the rest of humanity might seem unbelievable or impossible. And I think, to tell you the truth, that these things are going to become more prevalent as we go on, especially through 2020, because right now anything's possible. So, yeah. What does it mean, guys? What is the outcome? What does it mean for us as a people if we are being taken, if we are being abducted, if we do have control and there are things manipulating us and using us for whatever purpose they have? As terrifying as that is, it could be possible. And the only way to combat that is for more and more of us to stand together in it and seek the truth and demand the truth. And I tell you that I believe that the contact we've had is based in a spiritual sense, and there is light in it and love in it and hope. And I have faith that there are beings that hold love, who have conquered all their demons and who have found this spiritual understanding. Because to be spiritual, to be truly spiritual, is one hell of a thing, guys. It is insanely hard. It is probably one of the hardest things that we face as human beings right now on this planet, is to be truly, genuinely spiritual, and to hold life above all else, and to find the best in us and push that forward. So yeah, I just wanted to say that, guys. I just wanted to get it off my chest. I just wanted to say that keep an open mind, and if you open up your heart to possibilities, then you just widen your perspective of the world we live in, and it doesn't become so black and white, and it becomes a bit more technical. Yeah, that was it, guys. Just keep the faith, and if you are going through anything and you are experiencing anything like this I've just spoke about, please contact us. Please, just having someone who understands and knows that there are other things out there is a big deal. And if you know anyone that's experiencing this, pass it on, and just, open up your heart to the possibility that it could be true. As scary as it seems, it's not so scary if we're in it together. Love and light, para peeps. See you in the next video.